Got a special guest, my brother, VA finest, John JG Gilchrist. What's going on, man?
Hey, how you doing, my brother? What's going on? What's going
Man,
on?
I'm good, man. I'm good, man. How's everything going?
Can't complain. My wife, we expecting twin boys, soon. So, just getting ready for that. You know how that goes.
Man, hey, yo, that's crazy. Hey, when I saw that, man, I was like, yo, that's what's up, man. That's what's up, man. Twins,
Appreciate that. Yes, sir.
man. Hey, you know if it's boys or girls yet or what?
Two boys.
Oh man.
Yeah, man. So, I'm pretty excited, man. Pretty excited.
I
Dude,
already know, man. Shoot, that's what's up, man. Congrats again on that, man. That's good stuff. That's a blessing right there, for real, man. Seriously.
for sure.
Yeah. You been keeping up with the current team so far?
I caught a couple of I caught like one or two games. I've been keeping up with I keep up with the scores and stuff like that, the
Yeah.
live feed,
Yeah.
and things like that. I mean, I seen them play more last year,
Right.
but the whole thing with the COVID and watching them games like that, it's kind of hard to watch sometimes.
Right. Yeah, I already know. Hey,
Yeah.
because I mean, shoot, like I was talking to Coach Williams like a couple of weeks ago, man. And we were talking
Mhm.
about how they had a chance last year, man. Everybody thought they was gonna go. They may have had a real good chance to go real
Yeah.
far, and then COVID happened, man, and shut the whole season down.
Right. Yeah. It definitely was unfortunate for him.
Just
But
just imagine, man. If we had to play back when we was playing, man. We had to play through that situation. Like we couldn't play Duke in that type of environment or North Carolina in that type of environment. How crazy it would have been not to be able to play, at our place with the crazy fans, man, and our good fans, man. Then playing in indoor, camera indoor, man, without fans, man. Like it's a different experience. You know what I mean?
yeah, I mean, it's a different experience, but I think it goes both ways, because just watching the landscape of college basketball, like they say this year was one of the first years in what 50, 60 years was like Duke, North Carolina, and Kentucky was outside the top 25, stuff like that. So a lot of times people lean on their fan base a
Right.
lot. You know what I'm saying? So I guess playing overseas and stuff like that, when you got to bring your own energy, when you outside of that comfort zone, a lot of times it comes down to the chemistry of the team,
Right.
and I think that's the reason why a lot of these bigger teams get knocked off because a lot of times, it's kind of easy to lean onto the crowd and everybody getting you pumped up in those lights. I mean,
Right.
TG, them lights, so to see teams come in and beat other teams or it's like the tables are like totally turned right now.
Right.
And you know what I mean? You can't tell if it's teams not getting practice time or whatever. It's a lot of facts that it could be, but I think it's interesting. You know what I mean?
Right.
I really do.
Nah, definitely, man. Like I've been, like I said, man, just watching the games, man. No fans. So it's more like you scrimmaging. Like it's pickup.
Exactly.
We playing pickup. We playing
Exactly.
open gym. Us as hoopers, man. We don't care if. I mean, obviously we love the fans there because we get to put on the show, this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, man, we're gonna go out there and hoop and we're gonna compete because that's just what we do. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes, sir. It's the nature of the game.
exactly. So yeah, man. So like I said, man, they doing. I mean, they got a big win this past Saturday, and now they got a big one tonight against Wisconsin. So
Yeah.
and so they won the last few games, man. So us playing, man, that momentum get going. You win a few, much needed win games. Now you got the momentum. So now hopefully, man, like I said against Wisconsin tonight, if they can pull that out, man, that'll be real big for them.
Yeah, the guys they had Iowa, like then they did. How did that go? Then they
They
played.
had right.
What was the big game you said they won last game?
They went against it was Minnesota.
Oh yeah.
It was against
Minnesota usually
Minnesota.
pretty tough. It was at you,
Man,
Minnesota.
yeah,
Yeah,
bro.
they pretty tough at home.
And they got the most. This team got the most road wins against top teams in the history of Maryland basketball.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
I was
they
like,
got a lot of guys that can guard. That's what I like about them. They similar to how our team was structured. We had guys from the point all the way, point through 4 or 5 when we had Jamal, doing our run year, we can switch off on pretty much any ball screen or something. If any time you get a bad mismatch, you feel that, you can pretty much keep a guy in front of you and shoot a contested jump shot. You know what I'm saying? So you got a team like that, you gonna do some things, make some noise on defense.
Yeah, like I said, man, I know they took a couple of hits earlier, man, because, guys from Michigan like Hunter Dickinson and, guy from Indiana, the big man kind of just, outplayed our big man, but like I said, he's starting to get things going again, man. He's starting to figure things out, right? I like, man, close to tournament time when it's much needed, getting that good run, man, going, and they got about 10 games left. Shoot, man, they knock off a few, man. If they can get tonight and get a few more games, man, should go into the tournament. They should have that momentum going, then possibly have a chance to get into that tournament too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just as long as they guard, basketball, man. Just as long as you guard, get stops, hit shots. I mean, it sounds easy, but with the loss of a point guard, team captain, and they had, the big, going and getting drafted, and from year to year, the team dynamics always change, and then like once again with this COVID, it's hard because it takes away the home court advantage and all that. You know what I mean? So chemistry is definitely a huge issue.
Exactly, man. It's about depending on your bench. You know what I mean? The bench, like I was telling Coach Williams, man, the bench played the biggest factor now. So whoever got the loudest bench or the most enthusiastic bench is the home team, regardless you're on the road or at home.
Exactly. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Now I was about to say we're going through that right now. We actually got a game tonight. I coach high school down here in Virginia Beach.
Okay.
And we they canceled all of the sports in all the neighboring cities, but they kept ours. You know what I mean? So it's like our game. We got like an 8-game season, and it's similar. You know what I mean? It's definitely feel like a scrimmage, but I feel good because of the guys. I felt bad for when I felt they was going to cancel the season. Right. And, so, yeah, I'm definitely seeing it firsthand with these games,
It's unfortunate, man. Obviously we're living in way different times, man, where things are totally different to where we came up, man. And, everybody had to adjust, the whole world, man. So, man, what I know we talked about it, but other people probably want to know, man, like what made you choose the University of Maryland?
Being recruited by a school of that nature, first of all, is something that you can't take for granted. It's definitely a blessing, and coming from, one state away, Virginia, one of the first things that pricked my curiosity about Maryland is when Joe Smith went there in the early 90s. He's from my town or whatever. And so when he first went there, that's when I really, first followed him. And, and I was a youngin' at the time, elementary and all that. But, watching him come in and, he got drafted and, Iverson came, the following year and he got drafted maybe a year after. He went to Georgetown. So naturally, they were like my first two, Maryland, Georgetown. You know what I mean? You follow your heroes. I'm pretty sure similar to coming from the DMV and you seeing, the Wizard go to Maryland and be like, oh man,
Right.
So it's that type of thing. You usually follow your favorite players. And so that was, personally for me, that was one thing. And also fast forward, back then also I used to come up to the Maryland camps because I have an uncle that lives, two uncles that live up there and an aunt. And I would come up to the camp during the summertime and play. And, the kids camp. So I came up there probably about three summers or so. And the kids were really good. That was one thing that I, coming from here, which we play multi-sports, kids play baseball, football. It's kind of you kind of just go with whatever the sport is. And then, if you get opportunity, get looks, then you kind of hone into it, in our area. But when I went up there and I seen how serious that people took basketball, I understood that from very young. I was in elementary school playing with kids and just the moves that they were doing. I mean, we were little kids and they were doing stuff that I didn't see before, so I always had a different appreciation and understanding that how special the DMV basketball community is,
Right. Yeah, man. Like you said, man. Coming from here, being able to play at Maryland in front of my home team, and you're not that far from Maryland, and you got family here too. So
Right.
your family could drive. I know your family used to come to a lot of the games. It's easy for them to get there, man. It's nothing
Mm-hmm.
like that, especially when you're playing at that high of a level and need that support. So how was it that
Definitely.
transition coming in? We came in right after they won a national championship. So it was, and we still had some guys there like Steve Blake, Drew Nicholas, and those guys. How was it like, coming in and playing behind Steve and getting to get that experience from a guy who, just won a national championship, went to the Final Four the year before, had that experience just learning from one of the great Maryland guards.
I mean, it was tough, as far as like any freshman coming in, trying to, gain some type of traction, some type of respect, because, it's easy to come in as a freshman and take the back seat and kind of just be like, okay, I'll wait my turn. But at the same time, even the older guys and, even the coaching staff, everybody, they're looking to see what type of character that you have when you step on campus. Like, are you going to compete or not? And,
Right.
like one of the first things, with conditioning, that's once again, the things that I learned from Maryland, even now to today with coaching or any other aspect of basketball, just the way that the program was run was things that you can't take that away from me. You know what I mean? And it's like, I just remember coming to conditioning and they were counting all our shots and everything was calculated. And, we go in and you have an off day and the next thing you know, you shot, 40-30% of the shoot. Like it showed, you know what I mean? It was
Yeah,
up on
right,
the
right.
wall. So every shot you did was calculated. Every, times that you did on the runs, it was just like that level of data and consistency that you had to bring it every day. And it made me realize that, everything that you do, you have proof of why you're not playing. There's no need for talking. You know what I
Right,
mean? Like if
right,
you it's the proof is right there. You know what I mean? So that level of consistency was the main thing that I had to learn quick.
right. Exactly. Like you said, man, us coming on to campus, man. Like I wasn't. I mean, I knew at the math, man. They do it for free throws and stuff like that. But like you said, man, we come in and we got our little like during the summertime we have our drills. We come back in the locker
Mm-hmm.
room. They got the how many shots you made, how many shots you shot, how
Right,
many what's your percentage. So
right,
and they could now you go in and it might have been a team, it might have been a group before you that went in. You watching the numbers that
right,
they did. So
right.
it was that thing that like you said we just had to take some getting used to, but at the same time, just seeing how a championship team does things. It was it
Mm-hmm.
was it was it was it was different, man. It was different. I know it was different for me, coming in and they just coming high off the championship. They just coming
Right.
high off the championship. Um, so yeah, man. And then obviously that transition from your freshman year to now you got the keys. Now you the point guard. Now the keys in your hands. And what was that experience like? And like I said, now you went from playing as a freshman playing behind Steve. Now this is your team. And a lot of the older guys are gone. The seniors are gone. Steve, Drew, all those guys are gone now. Now it's just sophomores and the senior.
Yeah. I mean, at the time, when you're young, you're led by ego. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
at the time, it's like, oh, I got this, because you let off your pride and your
Right.
ego. But looking back, I was a deer in headlights. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just like, I'm not going to admit that I'm nervous or whatever. I'm just going to just try to go hard.
Right.
But
Right.
the learning curve of being thrust into a leadership position is something that it's always a delicate balance on any team. And we spoke about the team right now,
Right.
like losing a 4-year guy, point guard, where he came off, after Melo left, whatever, he was, ran the show, but he ran it for a while. So
Right.
to be in that position that you set the tone, and it's not so much only about how you're playing, but how the team is playing as a whole, is definitely a fine it's a fine balance, man, when it comes down to playing point guard. So, I'm thankful for the opportunity, but it definitely was a lot of lessons, good and bad, that I learned from being in that position.
Right. Like I was telling Coach Williams, I said, man, look, he was trying to teach me the whole time and trying to tell me this is what you need to do. And, me, man, I was bumping heads. I'm like, nah, but I want to do it this way. He like, no, we gonna do it this way. And I'm like, so it was like that back and forth because we, like you said, man, we young and we thinking we know everything. We think we think
Mm-hmm.
we got this. I got this. That was my mindset. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, man, I'm good. I got this. But like you said, as we get older, we go through things in our life, we different experiences, and then now we're not playing anymore. We look back on it, we like, this, you know what, man? Hey, coach was right, man. About it, if I would have
Right.
knew what if I would have just took what he was saying a little more serious, you know, the career probably went a little different way as well. So
Mm-hmm.
and I know as a coach, man, you coaching now, so you kind of see that now too. Like you understand the players a lot differently now because you was once a player. So
Right. I mean, honestly, the main thing that I'm getting from this whole experience, from seeing it from the other side of the coin, is that it's a group effort. You know what I mean? When you're a coach, you're not only coaching the player, you're coaching their parents, you're coaching their whoever their support team is, whoever it is. Everyone has to buy into the vision.
right,
And the only way you're going to really find success is getting the players to understand the individual success that you get is from the team. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times it's easy as a player to deviate from that plan and be like, all right, man, if I go get mine, if I'm gonna look good. You know what I mean?
right,
But it's
right,
hard
right,
to be like the team when the team look good first, and hopefully I have a good game instead of I'm
right,
gonna go out there and do my thing and I hope we win. You know what I mean?
right,
Like
right,
it,
right, right,
so everybody has to be on that page, and that's hard to do and sacrifice, especially for young teams.
right. And I'm glad you brought that up, man, because we were playing together, man. You obviously, man, a big guard, the score at will when you wanted to. So what like you said, man, like just knowing that difference, like I know I could take because man, your one-on-one skills was like to none. You know what I mean? So you can say, man, I could take him. I could take him one-on-one, and you can get to the bucket, or I got to make this pass. So what, like you said, man, like what made you say, all right, man, I got to get my team involved instead of saying, man, I can. And especially sometimes you got to go into a point where you're like, man, go ahead. You know what I mean? But sometimes you was like, man, I got to get the team going. So like you said, as a point guard, I know it's kind of difficult, especially when you can score at will. So like, what's that thinking? Like, I ain't play point guard, but
The thinking is very intricate, and one thing about it, looking back in retrospect, I wish I would have studied Steve Blake even more, because by Steve Blake picking up his playing style, he already had the blueprint of what Coach Williams had wanted, because he played that style, and he was pretty much the first pass first point guard that I've ever really, seen or played behind. You know what I mean? Like
mm,
everybody coming up in our era, we all followed the blueprint of Iverson. Like we just felt like, okay, if you could score the ball, then you can get looks. It worked for him. You know what I mean? So
right,
that's just how I was taught to play the game. It was almost like it was a one-on-one game within a 5-on-5. So to see a type of player that can sit there, and I remember we used to be like a shoot arounds of practice and everything. And they used to sit like on the middle, section where the scorekeepers, the little things used to have
mm,
up. And they used to sit there and watch other guys get up shots.
right,
And it looked like, sometimes you're laughing and joking, but I would watch him and he would watch other guys shooting their shots. And I used to wonder about that. I'm like, because every time I had an opportunity to get up shots, I was over there shooting or whatever. But to
right,
watch a guy, especially pregame, to see if they're hitting their shots and where they're feeling good at and stuff like that, you're in a whole nother game. You know what I mean? Your
right,
mental is on a whole nother level. And it took for me literally to get older, in my playing career, post injuries and everything like that, to start really leaning on my teammates more.
right,
Because like you said, my mindset was if everything breaks down, then I can try to go create a play. You know what I'm
right,
saying? Rather than let's see how I can just make it as easy as possible by, playing off of the strengths of everybody. I mean, I knew like, the spot used to like the ball on the baseline, used to be cash mid-range all the way to three. pick and pop all day, and the role, like you was very versatile as a player, but it's like certain players, you just got to learn their games, and that's the
Right.
only way as a point guard that you're going to find success is by knowing your personnel inside out. I mean, there's no
Right.
way around it.
I mean, absolutely, man. And also what comes with being a point guard, you just like a quarterback, you get that pressure. Everything's on you. So when things come down, when things get tight, everybody's looking at you to see how you gonna do things. So speaking of that, our sophomore year when we was going towards the tournament time and we had to win some games. I know we
Mm-hmm.
had to beat the win the NC State game right before the tournament. Like, what was the pressure like on you as a sophomore? Then you ain't started as a freshman, but you basically got the keys to the team as a sophomore. Like, what was that pressure like? Or was there any pressure basically having to take this team and basically knowing they just won a national championship, but we got to get away. We got to find a way to get back to that tournament. So going into the tournament, the games prior before that we had to win. What was that thought process like? And was there any like real tight pressure? Like, did you feel like anxious? Like, how was that? What was that feeling like? Like I said, you're a sophomore, man. This is your first time starting. I mean, on a team at the time, man, and just that
Right.
pressure, man. Like, so how was that?
I feel that it just goes back to the opportunity. You got to pay forward to all the people that gave you the opportunity to come play. That was in my mind. You know what I mean? And I didn't really want to let down those people, let down the people that gave us the opportunity to come to campus and play, the coaches, our teammates, everything. Because as a team, as a athlete, you always know you have another gear or more that you can give.
Right, right, right,
And
right,
just the dynamic of the whole team had adjusted from the year before. As you said, we lost those four seniors that we had the year before. You named Drew and Steve, but Taj and Sleepy. You know what I mean? So
right,
we had other guys that we could lean on if the other team went on the run, or even guys that could come off the bench, that were older, that can kind of be that stabilizing, like, solid force.
right,
Because when you're young, it's going to be more of an up and down thing. You know what I mean? You have the
right,
talent and you have the youth and athleticism, but sometimes, like, just we call it stop the bleeding, when other teams are going on a run, or that person who can really shift the momentum and stuff like that. So my mindset was just to try to take a step back and figure out how can come with a more mental approach to like we said before, as far as being a point guard. It was beyond what I could do, or me. Up until that point, it was me trying to put my best games together. You know
right,
what I mean? And then as a point guard, you come to realize that you know your success is only about if your team wins or loses anyway. Like, you can have the
right,
same stat line or even worse, but if your
right.
team gets a W, then that's all that matters. So that was my mindset. We had to win. We had to go to the tournament. So it was the same as how it always was. Who was there?
Exactly. Um, I want to know for myself, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other people want to know, man, that ACC tournament. What was your mindset? I know what it was like. I was there and I saw, but still, I want to get more into like that your thought process. And I know you had the Bible, man. Your look, it was. I seen you before, like I say, I'm in the locker room all the time, but it was just something. It was something different, man. We walked in and had that first game against Wake Forest. Even prior to that, just the preparation for it, and then our first game, we on the bubble. If we win against Wake Forest, we might have a chance. What was your mindset like going into that game? First off, going into the ACC tournament.
I mean, it's funny. To me, it kind of seems like how the guys probably played in the league this year when they were in the bubble out in Orlando. We went there with all distractions, out of the way. And so my whole mindset is, how it is, man. Playing in school, you got people calling for tickets and, you know, all that. You know what I'm saying? Cut the phone off and just, really lock in. It just really felt like an AAU tournament that you feel like, this is going to be a big exposure, or being at an elite camp or whatever, or, like
Right,
the guys in the league this year playing in the bubble. That's kind of was where I was at, you know what I mean? And like you said, going into it, we all knew that, we had to, win a game or two to solidify our NCAA, health and everything like that, our chances. But that just was my mindset, man. And from the season, we have certain games that we pulled off. We had upsets that we had. So you have your confidence working on that end because you can get it done.
Right.
But really, it's all about just putting the pieces of the puzzle together. And and the biggest thing that I've always had to really battle with is understanding how to be a leader. And a lot of people lead in different ways. And I just believe that it's my calling not to really lead by talking because
Right.
we all have a different way of how we view things. And some people
Right.
like, man, we like you talk because you can hype everybody up and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I've tried to do it, you know what I mean? But you might be, it's like somebody that's kicking the freestyle, it's gonna come off whack, you know what I'm saying? So I don't even, you know what I mean? I just learned, you know what I mean? Anytime I've ever had success personally is when I've, just focus in on what I gotta do. And it's like playing cards and just seeing how it's going. You know what I mean? It's like you said, my mindset going into that was, it was no pressure for real. You know what I mean? Just come in and just have faith. Like you said, I was into the Bible and, just everything, man. Just really being thankful for the opportunity. You know what I mean? And I just feel like that's pretty much, like they say, let go and let God, man. So that was my whole mindset right there. I won't think about too much of nothing.
Hey, I mean, I talk about this. All the other guys talk about this, man, and I mean, even Coach Williams was talking about it. Man, that NC State game, bro, was down 20 at halftime, and that second half, bro. I mean, obviously, you know us in the locker room, man. We know what we could do, but man, I heard the fans was leaving. They are in the parking lot, and they say, JG just getting loose. Johnny JG getting loose. So what was that like, man? Because honestly, bro, our whole mindset was like just giving the ball. Because you literally wasn't missing, man. And it was just like, man, it was I was on the court. So it's tough, man, because you on the court, but you can't be a spectator, but you watching it all happen at the same time. So like, what was that? I know you said using the zone, man. So I mean, I'm pretty sure that still was it too, but like knowing what you did that particular game, bro, like if you don't do that, we might not win that game. We more than likely we probably don't win that game, and we don't go. The history changes. So what was it like, and how does it feel knowing that? I don't even know how you look at that, but I just want you. I want to know your thoughts. I'm pretty sure everybody else want to know your thoughts about that too.
Man, I mean, first of all, thank you. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like one of those moments when you know that you're in a moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, like if you go to the line when the game's on the line and you got big free throws or you got a big shot or whatever, and everything kind of just, this is the moment. You know what I'm saying? And, once again, one of the biggest, I ain't gonna say dichotomies, I'm thinking of the thing that kind of just don't go with each other is my ability to score and play a position that, offensively, I was more like a two guard as far as, with my one-on-one skills. So, playing point guard, that's always a battle to think, should I score, just playing the point guard position.
Right.
So when you get into a position where, we came at halftime and, coach was just like, anybody got more in the tank, you know what I mean? It's time to step up. You got Coach Dickinson with his, all up in everybody. You know how Coach D was. You know what I'm saying? Y'all play like whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, it just, for me, it was a place of comfort because, one thing that I've always been able to do for good or for bad is to block out what people think and what people say or whatever, because I just was raised that way. You know what I mean?
Right.
So some people look at it as weird. Some people look at it as however you want to put it. But to me, I just feel like, what people say doesn't even affect me. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of what it was. It was like I just went out there like it wasn't in the score on the clock. You know what I mean? Like you letting us just go hoop and play, cool. You know what I mean? So that was my mindset, to be honest with you.
And that's what it was, man. It was like coach like that weekend, man. Like obviously we ran the flex the whole season, but I think a little bit right close to the tournament time, that's when he kind of just let us do the I think it was the 4-out 1 in. Had Jamal on
Mhm.
the inside and we kind of did 4-out 1 in. And I guess he
Mhm.
saw it work and he was like, all
Yeah.
right. And that's what kind of helped us, get past it, then helped us along the ACC tournament. But then now you get to now we're in the championship game. Now there's something different now. Now we kind of already solidified ourselves for the tournament. Now
Right.
this now we're playing against Duke. We just beat Wake Forest with Chris Paul and them, just beat Julius Hodge, number 2. Now we at number 1 playing against Duke, who everybody always want to see the Duke and Maryland games. Now
Right.
we got them in the chip. Run through your mind that process, and then now we get going to overtime, and it's still a tight game, but JG do what he do best. So what was that whole thought? No, we're in the chip now on big screen, man. We're on the big stage now, man. We about to make history. We didn't know that. I didn't know that, but because we kind of like tuned the whole, us, we kind of like tuned the whole outside out. Like we were just like like you said, just in that zone, man. Like,
Right.
all right, we just gonna focus on everybody in this locker room and we just go out here and do what we could do. What was that
Right.
like in regards to like your mindset and seeing everything unfold even until overtime, and then obviously what happened. So
I mean, honestly, a lot of times, like people say, you say like, oh, you played well and stuff like that, and I say thank you to that to people
right,
because I'm just like, as an athlete, or anything, all you want is, people to say, I appreciate the efforts that you gave, or you know what I mean, the memories that you gave, or
right,
whatever, your contribution. You know what I'm saying? And so, that's cool. But the thing that was going through my mind, it was a beautiful thing to really see us hit our stride at that time.
mm-hmm.
And I just was happened to be the one that had a hot hand at the time. And you learn this playing point guard early. You know what I mean? Like, it's been games where you were hot, and I'm gonna keep coming to you because I'm gonna get my assist up. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right, right,
So I was able to identify that you know, it's just the matchups. And then when we went to that 4-out and we were going, that played to my strength because I was always that's the way I played since I first started playing basketball.
right,
Since, rec league when my dad was a coach when I was 5 years old. You know what I mean? I was the
right,
point
right,
guard. I always had the ball
right,
in my hand
right,
and always everything was off the bounce. You know what I'm
right,
saying? So to go to college and play different styles. We're playing the flex, and it taught me a whole different offense. So how to properly feed the post and feed the
yeah,
the duck in man, and how to read a play if you pass the ball and how to move without the ball, which really to make you a better basketball player. You know what
mm-hmm.
I'm saying? But like I said, when we went back to the 4-out thing, now it just put me in more of a comfort zone as far as offensively, and I just felt that it was my duty because everyone was playing so hard. You know what I mean?
Right,
We were fighting, clawing, scratching. We were all in unison on
right,
defense and offense running our plays. You know what I'm saying?
right,
So, I mean, basketball, if you run a beautiful play and you get a beautiful shot, you know what I mean? An open shot, like is
yeah.
everybody looking at it, man, please hit this. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
That's
right,
how the
right,
game is played. You know what I'm saying? And it
right,
was
right,
big guys doing big things. I mean, it just didn't matter what happened. You could just feel it, and we were all playing off each other. Like we got the will to win, and
mm-hmm.
we gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
that's how I felt about the whole time. You know.
And obviously, I mean, we win the championship, man. Double in over. I said double in overtime, and won that chip in overtime, man. And now we the first team since 2000, I mean, since 1984 to win the ACC championship. And it's made up of us being young. We sophomores, and we just came off not really playing a whole bunch to coming on.
Mm-hmm.
Now we starting and playing the leading role, like that whole experience, knowing that you played a major role in that, and that goes down in history. They play that every year during tournament time. That's when the game I mean, like I said, I think I just found out like maybe last year when they ran it, it was like one of the best games in tournament or I think that was the best tournament in tournament history or something like that.
Wow.
And Coach Williams was talking about it a couple of weeks ago in regards to like nobody had a better performance, like a individual performance than you in the history of the ACC tournament. Like what, like looking back on it, bro, like trust me, man, I do it sometimes too. Looking at certain things, I'm like, man, like, that's kind of crazy. Like that's solidified. That's cemented. Like, how does that feel, man? Knowing that you made that mark during that tournament and how big that was and what that did for the university and what it did for just the history of the ACC tournament, man. Obviously, we're not in it no more, so yeah, man.
I mean, honestly, it just feels like a validation that you earned your scholarship, that you earned, the opportunity to put the Maryland across your chest. You know what I mean? We actually made a contribution, to what we were doing. I mean, I look at it no differently. And, once again, this is, me being me, me, you know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
always just, the way, you know, as a sports fan, it's different ways of, how people, you can give the answer that people like, oh man, I would want him to, whatever. But,
Yeah.
just honestly, I look at it's no different than when you have children. You know what I'm saying? Like certain things that we are all part of certain miracles in our lives. You know what I mean? It's just like,
Yeah.
to from a game of basketball and for us going out and playing doing what we're going to do anyway if nobody was watching for free, you know what I mean,
Right.
to touch people's lives and for people to be inspired from it, that was pretty much the ultimate reward in itself, you know what I'm saying. And that's just how it feels, you know what I mean, because I'm a type of person, I try to stay as forward thinking as possible.
Right.
And you know what I mean? As far as like looking back on things, I'm thankful for every memory that I have because, no one can take that from you. The
Right.
feeling of being a champion, all the steps that it takes, that these are all life lessons. You know what I'm saying? The nights, the days and nights that we had together as teammates, you guys are my brothers forever. I mean, I could not see you guys in 10, 20, 30 years. It don't matter. We get back together, I'm just like we got back together, alumni thing,
Right.
not too long ago. And it's like, guys are all married, kids and all types of things going on. But it's like, we all shared that time, that special time being in college together. And we did something special. So, that's just how I look at it. You know what I'm saying? As far as the individual accolade or anything like that comes along with it, that just comes with winning. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you can have the same game and you come up short, then you know what I mean? They don't put that the cherry on top. You know what I'm saying? So for us to win, it definitely was a collective effort. And so if they're going to give an MVP, obviously they're going to give it to a guy who, has the better stat line but on the winning team. You know what I'm saying? So, and you know, everybody ate, you know what I mean? You made tournament team, all that. So, it's just that's just how it goes, man. You know what I mean? And that's the way I look at it. It was a special time.
It was a great time, man. It was I tell people all the time, and it's interesting because I had a chance to talk to a lot of the fans during tailgate, and they always share their different experiences and stories about. They always share their different experiences and stories about what happened that weekend. And oh man, I'm talking, bro. Like I don't know if you had a chance to really like talk to anybody about that, man. Just to hear the stories, man. Obviously, like so. We know our experience because we played. Right. And then you have Coach Williams. I talked to him a couple of weeks ago. He talked about how it was seeing that and coaching that. You know what I mean? Just knowing what we went through that season. And then you go and talk to the fans. And it's crazy because they still to this day is like, oh my goodness, like one of the best weekends I ever had. You know what I mean? Because like I said, because everything that we went through that season, and then you talking about we've been down by 20 and 16, everybody's leaving. Then they in the fan, they hear people, and then we in Greensboro. So we're in North Carolina fan. We got the North Carolina Duke. So they surrounded. So just to hear their
interpretation of it.
Oh my goodness, it's crazy, man. So I don't know if you ever get a chance, man. Just to hear from all angles, man, and just because we live in it, so we don't really get to just like after the game, everybody calling that phone, telling, "Oh man, it was crazy." And we don't know. We trying to win the game, so we living in the moment. But I mean that whole weekend was special, man. Even the celebration, So
yeah, man.
You know what I mean? So
it was great times, man. Once again, it's winning and just sports. There's nothing that they can take away from you. You know what I mean? People couldn't debate this or that in the third, but when it's all zeros on the clock, you know, they can't take away your wins or your losses. You know what I mean? People can always debate and talk about who they feel are better at this and that. I mean, that's just the nature of sports. I mean, we got it's $1 billion business for a reason. You got everybody got an opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and if it's not for the fans or everybody, you know, creating that narrative, you know, it wouldn't be, you know, just kind of like we say right now with basketball with no fans and there's no fun. You know what I mean? So it's like when people talk, you know, it's great because that, you know, it shows interest for what's going on and people, you know, you have eyeballs on what, you know, what's going on. But, you know, from the way that I view sports, you know, from its purest level, you know, I always go back to the little kid that's at the park, you know, with the ball by myself. You know what I'm saying? Or just me and my selected few friends, we playing 21 or King of the Court or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the game is the same, but it's just, you know, the platforms and the opportunities and the, you know, the situations change. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's just kind of how I look at it. And, you know, I just feel like if you're good to, you know, what you're doing, then you'll be repaid from it. You know what I mean? And, you know, I just feel like that weekend was a combination of all of the hard work that we all put in for, you know, that many years to get into that moment. You know what I mean? So I just feel like God put that, you know, in our lives for us to, you know what it feels like to be a champion. That's all.
Right. Yeah, we got to banner the show for that too. So that thing ain't going nowhere. So I'm definitely appreciative of that. So hey, I ain't gonna lie, bro. We on the bus. We on the bus. I think probably after we lost the circuit NCAA tournament, we was in Denver. We all on the bus. I don't think you was on the bus. I think you was doing an interview or something like that. We was like, yo, man, he gone. We was like, he gone. He gone. We knew in our minds, we was like, yo, yeah, there's no way. What made you stay? Because you was, like I said, great tournament. Like you was on fire, bro. Like what made you decide to like say I'm gonna stay another year?
I mean, to be honest with you, you know, I wasn't even really even thinking about, you know, none of the business side of basketball at that time. You know, I loved college. I mean, as you know what I mean? I loved college. You know, it's a time that, you know, they can't take that away from you. You know, I mean, you've been a professional, so you know, like, you know, once you become professional and, you know, the responsibilities come, you know, you can't take that away. You know what I mean? And you know, looking back on it in retrospect, you know, I just knew that I knew we were going to, you know, have a better team that, you know, the following years and, you know, all of that, you know, it was just like, we're going to build on this momentum. And, you know, once again, I wasn't really thinking about, you know, the money or anything like that. I just was just thinking about the game. And, you know, it's similar to, you know, how I feel to today, you know what I mean? Like you have, it's different. It's different levels to everything. You know, you have the art of what you're doing, and just like you're an artist, you have your picture, and then you have what it's sold for. You know what I mean on the market. So that's just how that went.
Nah, yeah, man, we definitely like, yo, he's gone, bro. Like,
I mean, if you know, if people would have came, like, you know, if Coach Williams or, you know, somebody like that, you know, the coach staff would have came and was just like, hey, you know, we think it's best, you know what I mean? Like, then I'd even looked at it, you know what I mean? But I remember, I never forget, like, because I mean, we never had a conversation about it, whatever, because all I could think about is that, like you said, we lost in the Sweet 16. So, you know, it was always a goal of mine to play, you know, in the NBA, but at the same time, you know, my biggest thing was to try to be the best player that I could be. And now understanding how the game works and how people draft off potential and things of that nature, you know, I guess your potential, you can't show more potential than when you show what you can do, because at the end of the day, when you come back, when we came back, we were marked man targets on our backs, you know, scout reports, everything, you know what I mean? So it's just like, you know, it is what, and that's the business side of it, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, so that's just how that go. You know what I mean? But like I said, at the time, all I was thinking about was, it still was pure. You know what I mean? Because I feel like I've always played my best ball when I didn't really have, ulterior motives, just to go out and play ball. You know what I mean?
Right.
So be it youthful bliss, or ignorance, or whatever, loyalty, whatever the word it is. You know what I mean? Because to be honest with you, I felt that following year we were going to go further. You know what I mean?
Right.
Similar to what the teams did when they lost in the Final Four and they came back the next year and won the championship. I'm like, we coming back next year. We're going to be stronger. And that's all that my mindset was. You know what I mean? But we came back and certain unfortunate things happened in the next year. Teams got better. I know I hurt my wrist. We played North Carolina at home, and I went up, and they always trying to take charges, and I landed on my wrist on my shoe. And I ended up, I think I broke something in it, but I just ended up wearing that cast, trying to tape it up, but it was on my shooting wrist.
Right.
And one thing led to another, and he's sitting out, he doing this, wrist was the coach, this and that. So that's just the sports business, buddy.
Right.
There's always got to be something said. It never can be just whatever. Things can never be, because fans always have questions. Media always have to write a story. You know what I mean? And people always have to. So that was a valuable life lesson that I learned. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Just that's just how things is. It's how things are.
Yeah, like you said, man, it just, live and learn, man. A lot of stuff we don't know, like I said, I was talking to Coach Williams, man, just everything about, we young. We don't know nothing. You had the older guys that came before us to, to try to school us, but, they only had a year with us. So we could try to learn real quick or whatever. But, so it was like you said, man, all we can do is live through it, man, learn from it. Now what we're doing, like you're doing right now, man, now you're coaching. Now you've been on the highest level, so they have to listen, because you did it. You've been there, done that, So what was, besides that ACC tournament, man, besides the ACC tournament, what was your best moment at College Park?
My best moment, man, was just being on campus with you guys, just hanging out with the guys, having camaraderie. I had an older brother, but he was almost 10 years older than me.
Right.
So, really being close to guys and having that camaraderie was something. And just back to the whole point of leaving that, that was just something that I was just kind of like, man, if you go off into a business arena, how it is when guys are playing for money. Everybody has, their focus on, ain't no buddy stuff. You know what I mean? Even, so it's kind of like just that experience, with you guys and all the fun that we had. That's kind of the main thing. The nights at the dorm and, on the video game, little jokes that we send, you just, something I posted the other day, you said, well, that's with Chris, playing this music, you know what I mean? Just things like that, man. It's just, they stick with you for your life. And, we all shared a time and a bond of a time that we were all going through at that stage.
Right.
And to me, that's the beauty of college. You know what I mean?
Right.
I really feel that I had a very fruitful and fulfilling college experience at the University of Maryland. And for that, I will forever be thankful.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Those freestyle days up in the
everything, man. The whole thing, it was just constant comedy, man. We were it felt like that was our final opportunity to be kids, man. You know what I mean? It's a perfect send off to the world. It's just like everybody else. You go to college and, we all have college experiences.
Right.
And you have some people that go to school and, maybe their college experience wasn't great, but our college experience, nobody on our team would say we had a good time. We had an amazing time.
Absolutely.
Amazing time.
It was. Absolutely, man. Yeah, man. We definitely had a great time, man. I tell people all the time. I had a blast, man, as a college athlete, man. Not even just college. Forget this college athlete, but just as a student on campus, man. Just enjoying each other people, man, and just us, man, just joking around, clowning, us up in the same dorm, that freshman year, man, how
Right.
crazy that was. And like I said, all the
Right.
music, the freestyling and stuff, man. So, a lot of people don't really understand or comprehend that because a lot of people, probably didn't play or whatever, but they always want to know what that experience was like. So, I know you had to go through the NBA process and then, go play overseas. So what was that like, man? Just going through that whole process, leaving Maryland and then going on to that next level, that professional level that you was talking about.
It was just business, man. It was just business. You know what I'm saying? Like, you still play the game and you still, want to play the best ball that you know, can possibly play, but you have a job to do. You know what I
Right,
mean? And roles come in very, it's a very important thing to be able to play your role and to be able to get the job done. You know what I mean? You go to a certain team and, your expectation is to, do this, and you
right,
go to, or it's not winning, then, it's way more pressure because his job's on the line, so
right,
guys can't keep their job or, the coach, doesn't keep his job and they come in with a whole nother game plan or whatever. And your role totally switches,
right,
so it's just way more, more serious, more serious. And, it kind of, not to say it takes the fun out of it, but it's business, you know what I'm
right,
saying? And, that's kind of, it basically was what I thought it would be, you know what I mean? It was
right, right,
business, so we were there to handle business. And, not to get it wrong. I mean, you're still playing basketball,
right,
but it's different when you're getting paid to play basketball because,
right,
there's a certain standard and you put a lot of pressure on yourself and you know what I mean? Like, how it
right.
goes. So,
Yeah. I just want to say, man, I gotta bring this up before we go. Man, you went back and you finished up, man, and got your degree, bro. When I saw that, man, I ain't gonna lie to you, and I ain't even know because you ain't really been posting too much about it on camera until you actually. I heard you was up there because I was coming around or I was in the process trying to talk to them, but they was
yeah.
like, yeah, John up here working out, trying to finish up, and then when I saw you, man, with the Kevin gown on, bro, hey, man, that made me super proud, and as a point guard, you still was leading because I saw that and I still was trying to get mine, but that motivated me like, yo, I got it. Like, yo, I gotta go back, yo. I gotta go back because I saw you do it as a point guard, you leading the way. So, man, that's super big. Like, I know, I mean, obviously our parents, we tell them we're gonna go back and finish. So, what was
Mm-hmm.
your whole thought process then? Like, after we've been so far removed, to go back and say, man, I gotta get it done.
Thank you for that, TG. You know what I mean? I appreciate those words.
For real.
A lot of times you don't really realize you're affecting people just by doing the right thing or trying to, do the right thing. And, the older I've gotten, that's kind of what I've learned what the definition of leadership is. It's just doing what you feel in your heart is the right thing. And then, because sometimes, people ain't even going to tell you that, you know what I mean? You never know who's, whatever, and who
Right,
you may inspire, you know what I'm saying? So,
right,
with me, uh, I remember one time I was in Israel
mm-hmm.
and we was having a debate or something like that. And it was with a team, man. He always had a bunch of stuff to say. And he was like, I'm smart, like basically kind of came like who was smarter than who. It was like, who got a degree here, whatever. And you
Yeah,
know what I mean? And then like it kind of like it just stunned me. I was like, you got a degree? I could have easily, you
right,
know what I mean? Like, what does
right,
that
right,
say? You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right, right, right,
And so it just really kind of was just I didn't really like that way that he said it, like, dumb athlete, you know what I mean?
right,
I didn't really like that at all. So basically, besides, trying to, make your family proud or whatever, it just validates that you can finish something, and that's why I tell people all the time, the level of degrees and stuff like that doesn't really show how smart or intelligent a person is. It's
right,
just that it proves that you're able to start and to finish something. And that's the thing that in the job market, they like to see that you can finish a job. You can't just walk away from
right,
unfinished business. You know what I'm saying? And so
right.
that's all it was. And by Maryland, giving me the opportunity to come back and, finish up. I mean, it was an offer I couldn't refuse.
Nah, man. Yeah, because I'm going through the process right now, man, and it's a process. That's what I tell a lot of kids, a lot of youngins now, man, that they have to get it while they can because trying to come
Right,
back is not gonna be as easy as just get it done while you're there. Just get it
right,
done while you're there. I'm in the process of trying to come back now. We in the process of trying to do my application and stuff, man. But I know
Get
you gotta
done,
get.
man.
Oh yeah, oh that's definitely gonna happen. Nah,
Yeah,
man.
for
But I
sure.
just want to say, man, I definitely appreciate you taking time. I know you gotta prepare for your game tonight, man. Definitely good
Sure.
luck with that. Definitely good luck with that. So with that being said, thank John Gilchrist for coming on the Go Terrapins with Travis Garrison on the Field of 68 Networks. You can apply or subscribe at Spotify or Go Terrapins with Travis Garrison, also on Apple Podcasts. Thank you again, JG, brother, for
Yeah,
all your
you
time,
always
man.
CG. You know what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Anytime,
Yeah, appreciate that, man. Definitely good luck to y'all tonight, too. And good luck to you for the rest of the season. And on them twins, them two boys, man.